Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So I want to just do a really quick video about some thoughts about Vitali Klitschko. This isn't going to be a full career, hour-long breakdown video. Just a little short one, man. I was just thinking about his career. I was watching some of his fights last night. And often on my channel, you hear me say that my personal favorites, okay, now don't get this mixed up with who I think are the greatest of all times are, but just my personal 5 favorite heavyweights. I've said this 1,000 times, but it's consistency, man. So you'll never hear me switch up on this. But Ali, Holmes, Foreman, Holyfield, Tyson. Those are my 5 personal favorite, not only just heavyweights, but just my favorite fighters of all time. But when you do look at the heavyweight scene, I know a lot of people, they don't want to, I don't know. Maybe it's just more like American, some American fans, and I understand it because we wanted to see, us as American fans, we got kind of spoiled with heavyweights, especially if you're a guy from the 70s and 80s, 90s, you got used to American heavyweight champions. So we got kind of spoiled, man. So when these Klitschko boys came around, Vitali and Vladimir, it was kind of like, the era must be weak, you know what I mean? Or now, we can all argue that, all that's arguable, but regardless of the fact, though, man, Vitali Klitschko was a damn good fighter. To me, he came into his own, I believe, after the Lennox Lewis fight. Now, before that, he did defeat Larry Donald. I was watching the Orlando Norris fight, although Norris is a small heavyweight and Klitschko was favored to beat him, it was just he was knocking him down with jabs. His jab looked real good in that fight, man. He was handling Chris Bird before he, retired in his corner with his arm or whatever was hurting him. The Herbie Hyde fight, he knocked him out. But to me, he really came into his own after the Lennox Lewis fight. A fight that I had him winning on the cards before the fight was stopped. I'm not sure how much more Lennox had left in the gas tank to go into the later rounds. With that said, too, though, Klitschko was getting hit. He was in a brawl himself. It wasn't like some one-sided beating for Klitschko, although I thought he was winning the fight up until they stopped the fight on cuts. But he came in shape and he was ready to go, man. So it's not his fault that Lennox came in a little bit out of shape for that fight. And that was, Lennox Lewis's last fight. So, but after that, he beat one of the guys who, and see, I'm one of those guys, it's easy to look at things in hindsight and say, who the hell is Kirk Johnson? He's nobody. Well, it's easy to say that in hindsight, but during that time, especially in that late 90s, early 2000s, Kirk was one of my favorite, and I've done videos on this before, man, so I'm going to stay consistent. I've done a video on Kirk Johnson last year talking about how I wish he wouldn't have came in over out of shape for that Vitali Klitschko fight. He was good around about 225-ish, man. That was a Kirk Johnson that I liked, like in 99, 2000, around that time. So when he came in at 250 or whatever he came in at with the Klitschko fight, it was like, man, this isn't the same Kirk, though, man. This isn't, Then he had an injury he was battling, but Klitschko went in there and did what he had to do. It's not his fault that Johnson came in out of shape. It's not his fault, Then he revenged that, Corey Sanders beat his brother. And it looked like it was going to be trouble for Klitschko in the first round. It looked like Sanders was going to take care of him too. And Klitschko was taking some bombs, man, before he got Sanders out of there. Danny Williams was a fight where, he had beat Mike Tyson. I remember this fight too, man. They were trying to say, I remember during the build-up to this fight, they kept calling him the Mike Tyson conqueror, Danny Williams. And I'm like, yes, it's a 2004, 2000, whatever that year he fought Tyson, 2004 version of Mike Tyson, man. I mean, okay, it is what it is, but Klitschko went in there, took care of business, then he left. He left the scene, man, and then he came back. And to me, when he came back in 2008 against Sam Peter, this is where he just became, like, really, really good. Well, he was good before that, but this is when I thought his style just evolved, in my opinion, man, because early in his career, he was kind of like how Lennox Lewis was a little bit, man, where he was like a fast finisher. He wanted to finish you fast or go in there and fight fast. Fight like he had the mindset of a smaller heavyweight, like the mindset of a Joe Frazier or Mike Tyson type of heavyweight, where he wanted to go in there and fight at this fast pace. To me, man, he became a lot better when he just, his balance and the way he just moved around on his feet. Now, he would move sometimes. Don't get me wrong. He would move and, evade danger. But to me, when he just settled down, man, when he just settled down, relaxed, and he used the top half of his body, probably the best. I mean, you got to put him up there, man, with some of the best heavyweights to use the top half of their body as far as leaning back. Usually when you go into gyms, they don't teach you to lean back. I know you may get taught a pull counter shot, but you got to get comfortable fighting with your hands down first. No trainer's going to teach you to fight with your hands down. That's just, nobody goes over the fundamentals and say, okay, put your hands down. That's doesn't really work like that. At least the gyms that I've been in. I haven't been in every gym, so maybe there is some trainer out there that's teaching fighters to fight with their hands down. But you have to be very comfortable to do that, and you have to have some type of reflexes to get away with it. And Vitali, and I know it looks weird, man. It looks, I know it looks awkward watching him move back and get out the way and move a little bit. It does look weird, man. I'm not going to front. It does. But a lot of things are going to look weird when you're 6'7", 250 pounds, man. I mean, you're not just going to look like this fluid welterweight out there, or everybody's not Ali. Everybody can't move that fluid and look so graceful. It's just, everybody can't do that, man. So people have to evade punches and slip punches the way they know how, and it might look a little awkward. And he looked a little awkward, man. But man, he just has some of the best defense as a big heavyweight that I've seen, man. I'm just being honest with you, man. And then he was a guy, he was kind of like Larry Holmes in the sense of he was the jab right hand guy. Where, I mean, he did throw some body. I'm not saying he never threw body punches or never threw hooks or uppercuts. Obviously, he did, all right? But he was at his best, or he was rolling, in my opinion, when he was doing his jab right hand, and he was pretty much aiming for head target, aiming for your head, aiming for your face. To me, when Vitali was fighting like that and he was moving back a little bit, and sometimes his feet would just stay still and just his upper body would move. He'll just lean back with shots, come back with jabs and right hands. He didn't have a crazy reach advantage. Only had like a 79-inch reach. He didn't have, an 84 or, how like Anthony Joshua had or Lennox Lewis. I mean, hell, even Brian Jennings has a longer reach than Klitschko did by about 5 inches. So when he came back and he fought Peter, I know Peter had went through that Jamil McCline fight, which was a surprising fight. He won the fight, but it was a rocky fight for him. Beat Oleg Moskiev. He had lost to Vladimir. He just schooled Samuel, man. He just schooled his ass, man, with that jab right hand. Samuel couldn't hit anything, kept him at bay with the reach. And to me, he made that 79-inch reach more into an 89-inch reach. He made his reach even longer to me because it was 79 inches, but then he would lean back and he knew how to time you, and he would do a little, fencing, like a fencing match with his damn jab, to where he made it from like a 79 to like a 86-inch reach. You know what I mean? Just by the way he would lean back a little bit, make it harder for you to even try to land a punch on him. Then he'll come back and stick that jab in your face. So he did a lot of little subtle things. I guess you really got to just, appreciate once you really break down the tape. And me being a big guy myself, I'm 6'5", 240. He's bigger than me, 3 inches on me, and 2-3 inches on me in height. So just watching this guy move around like the way he was and getting away with some of the things he was able to get away with in the ring, it was just crazy to me, man. And then he came back and fought some undefeated fighters, Chris Arreola, Kevin Johnson at the time, Aliana Solis. Although that fight ended kind of crazy with Solis messing up his knee or his leg or whatever happened in that fight. Derek Chisora, same thing. Kept him at bay with that jab, busting him up. The Arreola fight was, he turned Areola's face into hamburger meat, man, just by pumping that jab, that right hand moving, tying him up when he had to. He fought an excellent fight. And another thing with him being such a big guy, he was always going 10, 11, 12 rounds like every other fight. He wasn't a big guy that ran out of gas after the 3, 4 rounds. I don't know, man. Vitali Klitschko, I think, gets overlooked. I know Vladimir's brother, went on his historic run. Had like 11-year span without losing. His brother went on a real historic run with the 18 successful title defenses. I think Vitali had about, I don't have everything in front of me, man, but like 10 or 11 title defenses, I believe. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have all the stats in front of me, but just looking at, I watched about 5 fights yesterday, man, and I've watched more, throughout his career, but yesterday specifically, I watched about 5 of his fights, man, and Vitali was a bad dude, man. I almost wish him and his brother can switch, man. I wish Vitali was the one that was still fighting versus Vladimir. I thought Vili was just a much better fighter than his brother, man. Just, I'm not talking stats and, you know, I'm talking about purely eye test and what I see. Give me Vitali Klitschko over his brother any day of the week, man. But just getting us out there, man. I think Vitali's a bad dude, man. I think he's a bad dude. Just put it this way: if I had to put who I believe some of the top heavyweights of all time, I had to throw them all into a room so there could be one guy that comes out on top. I'm gonna pick my man Muhammad Ali, but I'm not gonna lie to you. If I had to stuff the room full of heavyweights from the past and the, you know, just best heavyweights of all time, you got to put Vitali Klitschko in that room, man. Now if he does he come out the #1 guy? If they all had to fight each other in that room, would he be the last man standing, opening the door with the belt in his hand? I'm not sure. I'll pick Ali. You know what I mean? I think there's some other guys I'll favor over Vitali, but you would have to put him in that room, man, and he will be hell to deal with. I know it looks easy. I know he looks awkward and kind of clumsy, and man, then he had a chin too. I mean, man, Vitali was tough, man. I'm just getting this video out there, man. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.